Happy Sunday, you guys, and welcome to another episode of Choppin' It Up. I'm still on cloud 9 from the last episode, but I've come back to earth long enough to give you a new one. Now let's chop it up. Today's filmmaker quote comes from Jordan Peele. After becoming the first Black person to win the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay, Jordan Peele had this to say.
I stopped writing this movie about 20 times because I thought it was impossible. I thought it wasn't gonna work, but I kept coming back to it because I knew if someone let me make this movie, that people would hear it and people would see it. So I wanna dedicate this to all the people who raised my voice and let me make this movie.
I think about Jordan Peele's acceptance speech a lot. Honestly, the hardest part about making The Big Chop has been writing the script. I'm always worried that what I've written isn't good enough or isn't gonna translate well on camera. I've stopped writing the script at least 20 times. To all of you out there supporting me, this show, and this film, thank you for lifting my voice and giving me the space to make The Big Chop. I'm not gonna let us down. Now, it's time for another film story. Today's story is about the time I won my very first film award.
It's Chopping It Up, episode 6, story time, take 1, Mark. And the award for the 2019 IndieWorks Best of Fest Award goes to Future Unknown, written and directed by Makiba L. Ross.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. There are so many people I want to thank for this. First and foremost, I want to thank me for being so dedicated to this film, for always standing by my side and always pushing me to keep going and never give up. Thank you, me. I also want to thank myself. If it wasn't for myself, I would have never had the money to produce this film at all. And if it wasn't for the hard work, long hours, and many freelance jobs done by myself, I would have never been able to afford it. And last but not least, I want to thank I was the reason behind all of this. I wore so many hats throughout this production, but sacrifices must be made in the name of cinema, and I understood that. Thank you so much for this amazing validation in the form of an inanimate object. Thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, there were a lot more people involved in the success of Future Unknown besides me, myself, and I. It was actually about 20-something people. So, in no particular order, here are their names.
Last episode, we went over the basics of cinematography. This episode, we're going to focus on an often overlooked element of filmmaking. Today, we're going to talk about location scouting.
Tip number 1, check for outlets. Make sure your desired shooting location has a shit ton of outlets in it. Not having enough outlets can be a severe hindrance to your camera and lighting departments, as well as hair and makeup. If they don't have a way to plug in their equipment, your set cannot run smoothly. It sounds like a minor detail, but trust me, it makes all the difference.
Tip number 2, check the surrounding area. It's not good enough to simply scout your specific shooting location. You must also scout the area surrounding your shooting location. Is the location near public transportation? If it's near a subway, it'll be easy for your cast and crew to get to and from set every day. But it also means you run the risk of heavy sound interference and lots of foot traffic. Is the location within 5 miles of a hospital or a medical center? Always plan for the worst. If there's an accident on set that requires emergency care, having a hospital nearby can be life-saving. But if the hospital is too close to set, you're guaranteed to hear ambulance sirens all day long.
Tip number 3, sign a locations agreement. This one's pretty much non-negotiable. It is your responsibility as a location scout to secure a shooting location. And if you do not have a signed locations agreement, then your location is not secure. That's all for today, you guys. Our next episode will be the last of this season. So if there's anything you want to see on the season 1 finale of Choppin' It Up, make sure to tell me in the comments below. Until next time, you guys, peace, love, and curls.